Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The act of drawing spatially closer to something. Arrival that has been awaited, especially of something momentous. The moment of most intense pleasure in sexual intercourse. The temporal property of becoming nearer in time. Of the relatively near future. This coming Thursday. The act of drawing spatially closer to something. The hunter's approach scattered the geese. Ideas or actions intended to deal with a problem or situation. His approach to every problem is to draw up a list of pros and cons. Move towards. We were approaching our destination. The event of one object coming closer to another. A relatively short golf shot intended to put the ball onto the putting green. He lost the hole when his approach rolled over the green. A tentative suggestion designed to elicit the reactions of others. A way of entering or leaving. Come near in time. Winter is approaching. Begin to deal with. Approach a task. The temporal property of becoming nearer in time. The approach of winter. Come near or verge on, resemble, come nearer in quality or character. His playing approaches that of Horowitz. The final path followed by an aircraft as it is landing. A close approximation. The nearest approach to genius. Make advances to someone, usually with a proposal or suggestion. I was approached by the president to serve as his advisor in foreign matters. The act of drawing spatially closer to something. The event of one object coming closer to another. The temporal property of becoming nearer in time. Of the relatively near future. The approaching election. Arrival that has been awaited, especially of something momentous. The advent of the computer. Christian theology. The reappearance of Jesus as judge for the Last Judgment. The season including the 4 Sundays preceding Christmas. End, especially to reach a final or climactic stage. The moment of most intense pleasure in sexual intercourse. The highest point of anything conceived of as growing or developing or unfolding. The climax of the artist's career. The decisive moment in a novel or play. The deathbed scene is the climax of the play. Arrangement of clauses in ascending order of forcefulness. The most severe stage of a disease. The moment of most intense pleasure in sexual intercourse. The moment of most intense pleasure in sexual intercourse. At ease in talking to others. Of the relatively near future. The forthcoming holidays. Available when required or as promised. Federal funds were not forthcoming. Of the relatively near future. The upcoming spring fashions. The time yet to come. Of elected officers, elected but not yet serving. A verb tense that expresses actions or states in the future. A verb tense or other formation referring to events or states that have not yet happened. Future auxiliary. Bulk commodities bought or sold at an agreed price for delivery at a specified future date. effective in or looking toward the future. He was preparing for future employment opportunities. Yet to be or coming. Some future historian will evaluate him. The act of changing location from one place to another. Police controlled the motion of the crowd. Show, express or direct through movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The cinema relies on apparent motion. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A formal proposal for action made to a deliberative assembly for discussion and vote. He made a motion to adjourn. The use of movements, especially of the hands, to communicate familiar or prearranged signals. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. The reflex motion of his eyebrows revealed his surprise. A state of change. They were in a state of steady motion. Give an incentive for action. This moved me to sacrifice my career. Be in a state of action. Change location. Move, travel, or proceed, also metaphorically. The soldiers moved towards the city in an attempt to take it before night fell. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. Cause to move or shift into a new position or place, both in a concrete and in an abstract sense. The director moved more responsibilities onto his new assistant. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. We must move quickly. The act of changing your residence or place of business. They say that 3 moves equal 1 fire. Have a turn. Make one's move in a game. Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon. Follow a procedure or take a course. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. Progress by being changed. Propose formally. In a debate or parliamentary meeting. Arouse sympathy or compassion in. Her fate moved us all. Change residence, affiliation, or place of employment. We moved from Idaho to Nebraska. Dispose of by selling. The chairman of the company told the salesman to move the computers. Game. A player's turn to take some action permitted by the rules of the game. Go or proceed from one point to another. The debate moved from family values to the economy. Live one's life in a specified environment. She moves in certain circles only. Move so as to change position, perform a non-translational motion. He moved his hand slightly to the right. The act of deciding to do something. He didn't make a move to help. The act of changing location from one place to another. The movement of people from the farms to the cities. A euphemism for defecation. He had a bowel movement. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. He was a charter member of the movement. An optical illusion of motion produced by viewing a rapid succession of still pictures of a moving object. The succession of flashing lights gave an illusion of movement. A natural event that involves a change in the position or location of something. A general tendency to change, as of opinion. A broad movement of the electorate to the right. A change of position that does not entail a change of location. Movement as a sign of life. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. The movement to end slavery. A major self-contained part of a symphony or sonata. The second movement is slow and melodic. The act of changing the location of something. The movement of cargo onto the vessel. The driving and regulating parts of a mechanism, as of a watch or clock. It was an expensive watch with a diamond movement. The act of physically reaching or thrusting out. Accomplishment of an objective. Accomplishment of an objective. Someone who arrives, or has arrived. The act of arriving at a certain place. They awaited her arrival. The act of bringing to completion or fruition. The completion of marriage by sexual intercourse. The regulation of occurrence, pace, or coordination to achieve a desired effect, as in music, theater, athletics, mechanics. The time when something happens. The approach to a landing field by an airplane. Reach or gain access to. How does one access the attic in this house? A way of entering or leaving. He took a wrong turn on the access to the bridge. A code, a series of characters or digits, that must be entered in some way, typed or dialed or spoken, to get the use of something, a telephone line or a computer or a local area network, etc. Computer science, the operation of reading or writing stored information. The right to enter. Obtain or retrieve from a storage device, as of information on a computer. The act of approaching or entering. He gained access to the building. The right to obtain or make use of or take advantage of something, as services or membership. Approaching a particular destination. A coming closer. A narrowing of a gap. The ship's rapid rate of closing gave them little time to avoid a collision. The last section of a communication. Termination of operations. The act of closing something. A concluding action. Final or ending. The closing stages of the election. An obstruction in a pipe or tube. A rule for limiting or ending debate in a deliberative body. A Gestalt principle of organization holding that there is an innate tendency to perceive incomplete objects as complete and to close or fill gaps and to perceive asymmetric stimuli as symmetric. The act of blocking. Approaching a particular destination. A coming closer. A narrowing of a gap. Termination of operations. They regretted the closure of the day care center. Something settled or resolved. The outcome of decision-making. He needed to grieve before he could achieve a sense of closure. Terminate debate by calling for a vote. Debate was closured. A substantial increase over a relatively short period of time. The approach run during which an athlete gathers speed. An orgasm accompanied by the sensation of ejaculation of semen.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.